All right, so it looks like most of our attendees have joined. As I mentioned, we have 20 plus. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get started. So thank you again for everybody joining. My name is Brian Lang. I'm a regional sales individual within Dobil. Newer to the organization, been here 4 months plus, but been in the industry for an extended period of time. So I'm extremely excited to be a part of Dobil. So thanks for taking the time. I'm going to go ahead and do some light introductions and then do a little housekeeping here on the front end. And then I will turn it over to Jay Dunkel and Carlos, who are representing online marketing. And they are going to present the solutions for Biamp today. Jay and team are a wonderful partner of Dobil, and we're excited to have them on today. So let me go ahead and share my slides. All right, so this will be recorded, is being recorded currently. Look for an email. It'll come out on January 19th. That'll be from Leah. So that'll be sent out. It'll also be on our LinkedIn and social media channels as well. All attendees are muted. So we're going to utilize the Q&A in the portion of Zoom. So if you see at the bottom, you'll see a Q&A area. There's also a chat function. So Leah will be monitoring those. So if you have questions, we're going to pause. We have 3 areas we're going to cover. We're going to pause during each of those and allow Leah to ask those questions that were posed in the chat or the Q&A portion as well. So we'll pick up both those. So Dobil, I see a lot of customers, current customers, long-standing customers actually, that are on here. So I won't go into a ton of detail about Dobil, but we are, Don and team have ran an incredible company over the last 50 years. We're celebrating the 50-year anniversary this month, so that's very exciting for our organization. Throughout that time, we've amassed a wonderful technical installation and design team, and our programming team is top notch. So we have over 150 employees with extensive knowledge, and we're looking to help you with your partners and your needs and opportunities. The biggest thing is we stand for our reputation, right? So the reason we have long-term relationships is the ability to make sure that we're delivering and making sure our customers are satisfied. The areas that we focus on, I see a lot of people that are on the attendee list here that we help them with their audio-visual integrated system. So that's everything from presentation to collaborative spaces, traditional video calls and web conferencing, and also video walls, et cetera. So we can design, install, and support those solutions. We also do live events. So during the pandemic, obviously that group is a little slow right now, but we expect that to ramp up here shortly. But we do a lot within event production. So if you have a live event, et cetera, and need some help, let us know. Security and fire. So we also do a lot within security and fire. So everything from access control to surveillance, et cetera. Within the AV also is digital signage. So that's everything from interactive wayfinding to retail to room scheduling, et cetera. And lastly, we do a lot of public address and low voltage, mainly with K through 12, but we also do that for some higher ed customers as well. Here's our contact details. Leah will, when she sends out the follow-up email, will provide this to you as well. But you'll see my information there at the top. I'm here to help you. If you're already working with a Dobil representative, I see a lot of current customers here, so assume that you are. Reach out to your representative within Dobil if you have any questions following this, but I'm also here to be a resource and help with you as well. So without further ado, Jay, I will go ahead and turn it over to you. If you want to introduce yourself and Carlos and begin, that'd be great.
Okay. Let me get my screen shared. Screen 2. Share.
We are good.
Okay, perfect. Let me get something correct on my side here. Still good?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dobil, for everything that you've done for us, and we look forward to 2021 together. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm sure we are all happy to be out of 2020. So as Brian had mentioned, my name is Jay Dunkel. With me is Carlos. We're with Online Marketing. We are A manufacturer's representative. We're located in Wadsworth, Ohio. We've been doing business for about 32 years, and we represent mainly audio video manufacturers. That could be for live sound, that could be for video walls, it could be for conferencing, such as we're going to speak about today, projection. So we run the gamut, but we are very highly focused on audio video. Little quick introduction about Biamp. They are a 40-plus-year-old company. They are a global company, a global entity. I think we have 13 offices of some sort worldwide. And our mantra is Biamp connects people through extraordinary audiovisual experiences. That does not set a cap for us. So whatever we need to do to make it extraordinary is what Biamp will do. Okay. So our agenda today, just so we can encapsulate everything, we're gonna talk about 3 main points and then touch on something at the very end as well. But our agenda today is distancing in a conference room. We're going to introduce parle microphones to you and explain how those work. We're going to talk about minimum and no touch connections, which will encompass a particular extender or peripheral that Biamp offers. We're going to talk about different size and needs for rooms down in our scalable room design section. And then at the very end, we'll briefly touch on enterprise monitoring. So to start this whole thing off, obviously during our current health crisis, our personal distancing has become standard in conference, meeting, and classrooms. Our typical 12-seat table is now going to be seating 6. So as a result of that, microphones are now expected to pick up participants at greater distances, which, as we know, can be a real challenge. The good news is parle microphones are built for this type of flexibility. Parle microphones utilize a combination of digital signal processing with multiple microphone elements to dynamically beam track 2 participants while they're speaking. This happens automatically. There is no need for a preset recall. There is no need for a different piece of software or anything else. This is an automatic function that parle microphones were built to do. In cases of lively conversations, which we hope all conversations are fairly lively, multiple beams will be active simultaneously and are intelligently mixed for the benefit of remote participants. So what this means is, as Carlos and I are having a dynamic conversation, the far end colleagues can hear everyone. That's a huge bonus. Parle microphones are available in a variety of elegant form factors, including ceiling, pendant, and tabletop microphones. They're also all available in black and white versions. So any architects on the webinar, beware. They are small form factor. They are built on elegant lines. Lights can be on, lights can be off. Different colors, obviously. So we can really blend in as needed to any environment. So we're going to do a parle live demo, and during this demo, we're going to show you a couple things. We're going to walk around the room, and you're going to hear the microphones adapt to as we're standing, as we're sitting, as we're walking about the space, and then also as we leave the room. And then the other thing we're going to do is, as I had mentioned, multiple beams can be active simultaneously. So I'm going to count, and Carlos is going to recite the alphabet. And what you're going to want to listen to is each of us. At points, you can focus on me counting, and at Carlos, you can, and at times you can focus on Carlos reciting the alphabet, and you'll be able to hear both of us simultaneously. So that is the goal of this demo, for you to really experience how the parle functions. And at this, am I going to stop sharing, Brian, so they can see the room, or can you guys see the room okay?
Yeah, if you could stop sharing, that'd be great. And then also, I know you have pendant And you also have a ceiling mic as well. Can you kind of describe the setup there, and then when you switch between the two, how that looks and feels as well, just for the audience?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So let me bring up my Zoom and let me stop sharing. Maybe. Sorry, slide. Oh, I think I know what I need to do. Let me stop sharing. I'm trying to stop sharing. Let me end slideshow. Let me see if that works.
Yep, we're good.
There we go. Okay. All right. I might have to refine where I was before. In our current conference room, we might have to zoom up a little bit, but we have two pendant microphones that cover the entire space. But then we also have a single ceiling one. Part of the reason for that is we wanted to kind of test boundaries to see how a single microphone would function in our space. One thing that online marketing does, and absolutely in conjunction with Dobil as well, is we really try to test out all the equipment and push it to its limits and just give good verification on what we're seeing, what we're hearing, and how everything functions. So that's kind of what we built our conference room to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and walk around.
So Jay, the mics that are active now in the current setup that you're talking on are
I'm talking on the pendant microphones right now, and there's two of them.
Perfect.
So I'm just going to, I stood up and I'm going to get back against the wall, as you can all see. And now as I'm moving, I'm probably being picked up in this other microphone. And I'm currently the furthest away from the table in this room that I can be. I'm still talking in the exact same level as I was before. I can even whisper a little bit. And I will get up and walk around to the other side. So the purpose of these microphones is to track people, not furniture. So as I'm walking and moving about, I should be able to be picked up everywhere in the space. And if I am a loudspeaker, which I am, or if I am a quiet talker, like some other people, the goal is everyone at the far end is going to be able to hear them accurately. And Carlos is going to demonstrate walking out of the door and going a little bit further away than otherwise.
One thing that I did want to mention too, while Jay was speaking, I was moving this chair, as you can hear, and it's a pretty squeaky chair. That's one thing that these microphones do, is the cancellation and voice recognition.
Yes, yeah. So they are tuned for human speech and try to not pick up other things. So Carlos is now 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 to 12 feet away?
Yeah, about 13 feet away. I'm specifically outside of the door in the main hall of our offices. And full disclosure, we do have sound masking by Cambridge installed here. So that's bleeding into the room as well.
Yeah, I can hear that. So as you can hear, Carlos is speaking, I'm speaking, slightly dynamic conversation. He is much further than I away from the microphones.
Right.
And Brian, how is it sounding on your side?
Sounds great.
Good. Okay. The other thing that we wanted to do, or the other demonstration, is I'm going to count, and Carlos is going to recite the alphabet, probably up to J, since that's my name. We figured that's a good place to stop. And we will, you can focus in on both of us speaking. So ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. So let me get back over to my station here. Sorry, I just walked in front of the camera. Apologize for that.
So Jay, if you switch from the pendant to the other parle mic.
So this is now the ceiling mic is active, and I'm sitting in my normal seat. It doesn't have as much coverage because it's a single microphone, but if you are around the table with this particular configuration, it will pick you up very well. If you move a little bit to the outside boundaries, like we were with the 2 microphones, it will struggle a little bit. It will still pick us up, but it just won't be as crisp and clear as having the 2 microphone solution in this space. So, it's really important to know and understand how much of the room are we covering? Are we only worried about the people around, or are we concerned with, someone who would prefer to stay even further away from others and sit in a far corner of the room? Or if we intend for the entire room to be, filled up as much as possible while keeping socially distant and being able to fill the entire space. So in another section, we are going to discuss the scalability of the system at this time.
Perfect. Can you switch back to the pendant?
Yep,
so we can cover that with one ceiling mic or two pendants.
Yep.
On our end, the ceiling mic or the pendant mics are certainly a little bit more clearer,
Yep.
especially in full room coverage because there's two of them
Yep.
Versus the one, but you still get the table coverage with the one ceiling. So.
Yep, exactly right, exactly. In this room, I think I saw someone ask, this room, which we'll actually show in a little bit, is 14 feet wide by 26 feet deep. There's about 4 feet worth of cabinet and display and stuff on that side. So probably about 22 by 14 feet worth of usable space that we're working in. And our room has been acoustically treated because we did intend this to be a conference room. So we carpet, acoustical treatment, good ceiling tile to make sure that the acoustical environment was as good as possible for meeting situations.
So Jay, can you give us some insight on the design side within that space as well? So, you see we have your mics are going to your DSP.
Yep.
Just kind of what setup you have there on the back end.
Actually, why don't we go through that a little bit later? So I
Perfect.
have a section about room design, and we will, because what I will show there is exactly our setup here. So we'll go through that in just a few minutes. Cool, thanks, Brian.
Hey, Jay, we have a couple questions.
Okay.
Are the parle mics going into one of your processors?
Yes, so our parle microphones have a unique symbiotic relationship to our processors. There's actually quite a bit of data passing between the two. So the parle microphones are purpose-built for Biamp processors.
And then which of the ceiling mics would make a cleaner install with a hard plaster ceiling?
Honestly, probably the pendants, because the pendant microphones have a plenum box that have knockouts. So if it's a hard plaster ceiling, we could pipe over to one of those boxes, and then coming straight out of the bottom of one of those boxes will be the pendant microphone. The other good part about that is obviously it's highly reflective up there because it's a plaster ceiling. That will allow the microphone to be a certain amount of way from the ceiling to help reduce any reflections that it might be seeing. So I would say in that instance, the pendant microphone would be your best bet.
Okay, and our final one in this section is what software do you use to configure the microphones?
That is also a very wonderful part of the system. It is attached to the Tessera software ecosystem. So there is no additional software that's needed to commission these microphones. The software that you utilize to program the DSP is the exact same software that you utilize to commission the microphones.
Great. Any other questions, Leah?
The last one that we have was for you, Brian. Is your mic a Bluetooth headset? And then that's all we have in this section.
Yeah, so I'm just using Apple AirPods. So I am just utilizing those for simplicity's sake. All right, cool. So Jay, you want to move on to the second portion?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Unless there's any other questions. Now, can you guys see my full PowerPoint?
We can.
Okay, wonderful. So, we did that already. Awesome. Okay, so
So
again,
Jay, you'll just want to go full screen with that, and then we should be able to see it a little bit clearer. From current slide.
So are you seeing my actual presentation portion, not the full screen?
Correct.
Okay, let me share a different one. Screen 2. Cool, thank you. I work in Microsoft Teams on a daily basis, so Zoom is still a mystery to me sometimes. Are we good now?
We're good.
Awesome, thank you. So again, kind of stemming from the pandemic, but even before pandemic, Biamp was thinking about all these things, about flexibility of microphones, about flexible spaces, about the need to connect to our system and conferencing in multiple different ways. So the next is minimum and no touch audio connections. This section is going to be revolved around a particular peripheral called the EX-UBT. So hello, BYOD. Hello. Let's see, advance. There we go, okay. So Biamp EX-UBT Expander is a PoE plus device that can be placed remotely in the field for the best placement in your room. So as you can hopefully see, this is a small device. Here's a coffee cup. And it can be mounted underneath a table, behind a display, above a projector, wherever the use case need is for this device. So it sits at the end of a Cat5 cable. This one single device gives us USB and Bluetooth, and both are simultaneously available for ultimate flexibility. So a little pictorial representation of this. The minimum touch portion is our USB. So I could walk into a space and just grab a USB cable that's been cleaned, plug it in, and that will be all of my audio input and output from my laptop. It provides mute and volume synchronization with laptops and with codecs. The great part about this device and this in particular is that if it's a BYOD room and you have people coming in with different laptops at different settings, we can actually push a volume level that we want for that space to your laptop. That happens at the OS level. So as we're all aware of, if we have BYOD spaces, I might walk in with my laptop muted or unmuted and 100% or unmuted and 0, whatever that looks like. And that can cause us to spend time troubleshooting, and our efficiency of our meeting has just decreased. That's not what we want. That's not what we're looking for. So plugging in our USB will allow Biamp to define a volume level and a mute status that your laptop will adhere to. So walking into a space, we have all that preset. I plug in with my laptop. It doesn't matter what state my volume or mute my laptop is in, it will conform with a preset that we have inside Biamp. So this is huge, wonderful functionality that makes every meeting start off exactly the way we need it to start off. That does require touching a cable though. So if we want to go complete, I don't want to touch anything except for what I'm bringing into a room. We also have the no touch experience, which we can connect to this device via Bluetooth, and it will set itself up on our mobile device or on our laptop with Bluetooth capability as a headset. So it will utilize a Bluetooth connection bidirectionally as your interface in with the system. Same device, two functions. If someone has a meeting already going on and someone walks in and has a project manager for the project on the other end of the phone, they can connect via Bluetooth, and now the soft codec laptop portion and the Bluetooth portion or conversation are all interconnected. So even though we have one device, we have two separate discrete functions that it can do. We've talked a couple times in the past couple slides about UC, about soft codecs. We are partnered with Teams, with Zoom, and with Google to function with all of them. There's some particular caveats with some of them. We have all kinds of information about how we work and what you need to do and how it works and in what ways it works in our support website. But just know that the big three players, Teams, Zoom, and Google, are all partnered with Biamp systems to ensure that you have the best experience possible with your conference. Any questions, comments, or concerns with our EX-UBT?
We have a couple. One of them is, can I disable Bluetooth if I don't want or need it?
Yes, absolutely. So since they are separate functions, Bluetooth can be disabled. It can be made non-discoverable, and it can be made with a timeout function. So if you don't wish to use it at all, you can completely turn it off. If you would only like it to be available for the night crew whenever they are cleaning, you can have it set up on a schedule that will activate Bluetooth during a particular part of the day. So it's an extremely robust, commercial-friendly Bluetooth environment.
And the other one we have for this section is, can I add multiple expanders onto a system with in-house and guest connections?
Yes, you can. So with this being a peripheral device, you can add multiples of these to a Tessera system for either multiple connections in the same space, or often what we see is a divisible room where we might have one processor handling 2 or 3 rooms, and you would like Bluetooth and USB connectivity in all those spaces. We can have multiple EX-UBTs onto a single processor, all available to all functionality available for those different spaces. So yes, you can.
Great. So that was really good information, Jay. Much appreciated. I know we have a third topic that we want to cover today as well. So do you want to move on to that?
Yep, absolutely. So scalable room designs, you know, we're all facing, again, with the pandemic, challenges. You know, that might be capital budget has been cut because we don't, because we don't have as many people in space. We're putting less people in a particular area, so we don't need as robust of a system. So Biamp's answer to that is we have 2 different processors. So Devio is one, and you can think of that as a Tessera Forte Lite. And it works really, really well in classrooms, huddle spaces, touchdown rooms, small meeting spaces. It is a self-contained unit. It has USB connectivity. It works as a USB hub. It has an amplifier stage built into it, so you can have speakers connected directly to it. And it also has HDMI pass-through. So I can plug in HDMI and plug in my USB and have my Devio behind my display, and it can run my display, the conference, the speakers, the everything. So it's a really great all-in-one solution. If we're looking for something that tends more toward the enterprise level, our Tessera and Tessera Forte lines are purpose-built and work very well with lecture halls, medium and large conference rooms, divisible spaces, and so on. The great thing about this is it's going to be a very similar user experience. So as you're wanting to set standards and set uniformity for your rooms, whatever the size, putting in Devio and putting in Tessera is going to give you a very like experience in both places. Okay. We had mentioned scalable room designs. So specifically talking about the Tessera and Tessera Forte platforms, Biamp's open architecture software and network topology enables each system to be purpose designed according to need. So components can be added for larger spaces, or you can use less components for smaller spaces. So we have amplifiers, we have speakers, we have microphones, we have our BYOD extender. We can add or subtract those particular components away depending on the size of the room. So that really allows us ultimate flexibility depending on the size and the use of the space to use the same pieces and parts, just adding more or not using as many. And to further simplify things, everything is category connected. So we all know what category cables are. We can all, we have a bunch of them in our IT closets. They're everywhere. They're inexpensive, and they are absolutely stable. So our topology is category connected for simplified, efficient, and trouble-free installations. So one thing I would like to introduce to everyone is a conference room designer that was released not too long ago by Biamp, and we will do a live demonstration. So let's see if we can get to this smoothly.
Yeah, so the goal of this is to have an end user be able to basically go in and kind of input their information and get their own without utilizing an integrator, or the integrator can use this tool as well. So it's multi-purposeful. So
Yeah,
like
exactly. When you start looking at sales, well, at purchasing practices, there's a figure out there, 70%, which means that 70% of the buying decision has been made before they reach out to anybody. So they've already done some research, they've already spoken with colleagues, they've already maybe even tested a couple things out. And by the time they reach out to someone, they typically have 70% of the decision there, and they're just looking to fill in that remainder 30% to verify everything's working, make sure that they have a great partner that can install it, support it. So this conference room designer, and are you guys seeing the website? No?
yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So this is
Actually, what I see is the I apologize. So what I see is the
PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint. Yep. So we'll need to
Okay,
pivot over
let's
to the
see.
website.
Let me share this. Sure. Hey, I'm getting used to Zoom. By the
There you
time
go.
we're done with this, I'll actually know how to use Zoom. Okay, so so this is support.biamp.com, as you saw on the slide before, and this is a public-facing website. You don't have to have a login. They don't have to know your email. You don't need to give them any of that information to access this website. It's completely free, completely public. It gives lots of articles about lots of information for all of our systems, but the really fun one is down here, and it's called our Conference Room Designer. And like Brian had mentioned, while you're in the decision-making process, if you're reaching out to, if you're researching and reaching out to see what might work best in your space and get a really good idea of what you might need before you reach out to Brian or any of the guys at Dobil, you can come into our Conference Room Designer. You can start a project. So we're just going to call this Dobil Webinar. Company is Dobil Labs. And designer is obviously our very own Brian Lyon, if I can spell. So we're going to begin a room, and as you'll notice, you can add multiple rooms. So if you have 5 or 6 spaces, you can create a different design for each one of those spaces. We're not going to complicate it. We'll just stick with one. But this can be our conference room. Oh, and by the way, if you would like to go to support.biamp.com and just scroll down to the bottom like I did and select Conference Room Designer, feel free to walk along these steps with me. So I'll kind of go slow just in case anyone wants to jump on. So conference room dimensions, I'm going to simulate this room. So we have about 22 feet of usable space. We have 14 foot wide. Our ceiling height is about 9. And we have ceiling tiles and 2x2, 4x4, 4x2, so you can orient them correctly. And also, if you're working with a global European office, we have 600 by 600 millimeter, which is European standard. So we'll select 4x4. So that's our room. Then we can add a table. So we just have kind of standard shaped table, nothing super fun. So this is about 12 feet long by about 5 feet wide. It gives us a choice of microphones. So like the question was asked, what if I have a solid ceiling? A pendant microphone would probably be our best bet. So let's go with a pendant microphone. We're going to try to be as close to the people speaking as possible. So let's go about 7 feet. And we can decide, as we had talked about before, do we want to get everyone around the edges, or do we just want everyone that's around the table? So we want everyone around the room. Room acoustics, this is very important, as it is with every room. Conference rooms need to be the best acoustically performing spaces they can be, because we are we are providing information to one another. I'm providing information to you audibly and then vice versa. So the more behaved acoustically our room is, then the much better our conferencing system can work for free sharing of ideas and information. So we have a great room here because we have acoustical treatment. But here, if you would like to know the stats of what Biamp thinks is a poor, fair, good, perfect, and great room, then there is a little link here that will take you to a different page that describes RT time and background bass noise and so on. And then we are going to focus on the full room of speakers. And we're going to continue to room. So as you can see, this is our table, this is our room, and it actually placed a single microphone in this space. Good for the table, maybe a little bit further. But let's say I'm really concerned because I know that one particular gentleman sits over in this corner all the time and they speak softly and we really need to hear them. We can actually bump up the number of microphones. And now we have excellent coverage everywhere in our space, which is exactly what we have in our room. And this is showing 6 speakers along the outside, but we can also adjust that where if we just want focused coverage of speakers right over top of the table, and that gives us 4. So this gives you a way to very quickly, almost instantaneously, see how your speaker and your microphone pickup will be in your particular space. So once you've done all that, you can save this. Going to save your project. And in the URL, you can copy and paste that into an email, into a file, and that holds all of your information for the space. So you don't have to design this again. You can send that to someone so they can have a look at it as well, or send it to Brian or any of your other Dobil representatives so they can understand what your idea for the space is. We can also export this, and whenever we export it, it's going to generate a PDF, and this is extremely handy. And Brian, let me know if you can see that.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So this really gives us a nice defined or a nice detailed layout of the room. It gives you Brian's information. I'm sorry, it gives Brian your information. It gives us information for the space. It gives you your microphone and your speaker layouts. But the really handy thing is all of our quick links here. So all these links are active. So if you would like to see the specifications of our ceiling speakers, all you have to do is select the hyperlink that's associated with that particular device, and it will take you directly to the web page and show you what that looks like, give you all of the catalog and data sheets and manuals and mechanical and acoustical data that you need, so you can verify, yes, that is the best thing for my space. So in 2 or 3 minutes, once you get quick at it, in just a few minutes, you can design a room, you can take a look at all the components that are in, and then you can shoot a quick email to Dave or Don or Connor or Jeff, whomever you're working with at Dobil, and they can open it up and look at it in real time with you and give some suggestions, give some thoughts. And that way you have your idea of how the conference room should be designed, and then you can talk to some of the experts at Dobil and verify it and get affirmation that, yes, we're good. And at that point, Dobil can handle it from there. So anyhow, during your decision-making and research-making process, feel free to go to Biamp, to support at biamp.com, and get all and more information that your heart desires. So any questions about that? Anything you want me to run back through it? Everything makes sense?
Yeah, so Leah, do we have any questions at all?
Not for how to use the website, but we do have some on the scalable design. Are the microphones for Devio and Tessera the same?
Are the microphones for Devio and Tessera the same? Yes, they are. They are the same. They have the same functionality. They have the same pickup. So as you are putting microphone, as you're utilizing the microphones with either a Devio-based solution or a Tessera-based solution, we will expect for you to have the same outcome.
And then the other question on top of that was, does Devio have Bluetooth as well?
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. So there's a couple of different versions of Devia. One does have Bluetooth and the other one does not. But you know, we see overwhelmingly people would like the Bluetooth option. So getting the Devia with the Bluetooth option is basically like getting an EX-UBT built into your system. So you'll be able to connect any mobile or laptop device with Bluetooth to the Devia, again, completely touch-free.
And it also has the same accessibility as the Tessera version, the UBT version, where you can turn it off, you can put a timeout on it, you can label it for multiple.
Yeah, so, yeah, thank you, Carla. So very, very similar user experiences, which is what we're going for because that is efficiency. Okay, let me reshare my PowerPoint screen.
So Jay, if customers have these out, you know, we have multiple units out. I know you're going to talk about the control aspect of these units. So if I have 100 out, if I have multiple out, I know I see several customers on here who fit into that category, some of which don't. So if you want to cover that as the next portion, and then if anybody has used this in the field and has any comments or feedback, we welcome that as well.
Okay, here, let me reshare my screen. Something went silly. So let's share. There's some stuff in the chat as well. I don't know if Leah, if we've covered that or not.
We've covered all of them besides the question from Dave that talked about the room kits. So
Okay.
yeah, so we just want to touch on that at the end. That'd be fine.
You know, now might be a good time to go into room kits. So whenever Biamp, you know, in the process of Biamp partnering up with teams and defining what that relationship looks like, teams, as we know, oh, by the way, which are you seeing, the real PowerPoint or my?
I'm seeing the non-zoomed in presenter mode.
Okay.
Non-full screen.
I'm sorry, guys. We'll try to get this right.
There you go. You're in business.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. So as that relationship was being defined, teams define certain size of rooms, if it's a small, medium, or large room, and defines functionality within that room. So during that process, Biamp, in conjunction with Microsoft, created 4 bundles. Those bundles are medium, ceiling and table, and then large, ceiling and table. And everything that you need audio-wise comes in those bundles, including the network cables. So if it is a medium room, it will come with a microphone and a couple speakers and an EX-UBT and processor and everything you need to configure it. If it's a large room, 2 microphones, 4 speakers, again, everything on the back end you need to connect, including EX-UBT and all the cables. So, you know, during that time, we really used the information that we were getting back from Microsoft to understand better the size and needs of the rooms and created our bundle packages around those. So those are a 1 SKU item. There's a website or there's a landing page specifically for those, and I'll give those to Leah and she can email those out whenever she does a follow-up email. But just a really great little packages that are defined for specific spaces. But the great thing is that if we need to get outside of those boundaries and do something custom, we're using the exact same equipment, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but using the exact same equipment that has been defined in those bundles. All
Perfect.
right. Cool, thank you. Let's see here, advanced slide. Only a couple more, don't worry. Questions, comments, we got through that one. So as we are installing more of these systems, or as we have maybe a couple per each floor and we have 7 or 10 floors, it's difficult getting around in our busy life, or as we are working remotely, you know, to get around to verify that everything is functioning correctly. So we have a enterprise monitoring and management software called SageView, and it's exactly that. It's for monitoring and management of Biamp systems. And this goes outside of the realm of Tessera. It also, it also works for Devio, for Crowd Mics, for Cambridge devices. So you have visibility into a lot of Biamp products. You can also, since it's a managing tool, you can also push firmware updates. You can push updated VoIP information. You can push updated password information. If you have a large enterprise and you want to sandbox a couple rooms and just push firmware out to 2 rooms and test them for a couple weeks and everything's solid, you're fine, and then you want to push to the rest of your spaces, you can schedule in those firmware pushes. So just really good, really in-depth monitoring and management that is built on a RESTful API. And some of you may know or may not know what that is, but that is a very easy way for other network management systems to interface with SageView so that you can have a single dashboard that you push and pull information from without necessarily needing Biamp's own SageView. So extremely robust, extremely well built. We're building on this. So as Biamp is constantly innovating and bettering themselves. So this SageView is going to continue to build with the rest of our products. Any questions on SageView? No? Okay. Kind of, hearkening back to Brian's opening slides, Biamp offers a high variety of products. We have public address, we have loudspeakers, amplifiers, sound masking, audience engagement pieces, huddle room solutions. So visit biamp.com. It's broken out in categories, it's broken out in projects. So there's lots of ways for you to get information from Biamp with their Biamp.com and their support.biamp.com websites. And big congratulations, 50 years as an AV trailblazer. So thank you, Dobil, for all your support. We have great relationships with, everyone from sales to engineering to install, just a great team, and we're very thankful for your support.
Thanks, Jay. Definitely exciting time. We look forward to a successful 2021 and helping our customers design these types of solutions. And I know a lot of our team members have used Biamp and have great experiences, and we continue to roll them out. So appreciate your support. And speaking on behalf of Dobil as well as our end users, you're always engaging and willing to help. So thank you for your support. All right, so that is the end of today's session. So as we mentioned before, Leah will send an email out that will summarize this, provide some additional content, etc. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, and look forward to our monthly future webinars on a different set of topics. So thank you all.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.